Hi everyone. Hi, it's great to see you all. I'm Nikki Thomas, career success coach and founder of Winning in Work. And so thank you for joining me on today's Monday Career Chats. Today I'm going to talk about, for our episode 21, we're going to talk about why you need to believe in the work that you do. It's so important. One of the big things that I think at the moment that we can all relate to is everything that's going on with the protests. And this is it, like the reason why there's so many protests going on is because it's a lighting a fire in people, and it is about believing, and it's a belief that all lives, well, I say all lives, Black Lives Matter, but in terms of saying that all of us are equal, and believing in equality. One of the big things, and you would have seen my post on this, is that, I've been really, I am lucky enough to experience loads of different cultures in my childhood and as I've grown up. And one of the biggest things is that it is about how everything sits with you and how you and what your values and your belief system is. One of the big things about why you need to believe in the work that you do isn't just about, the job that you do and having a passion like I talk about so much, but actually it's about, actually believing in the company. It's believing in what you do every day. It's what you wake up. It's your purpose. It's your passion, but it's actually your belief system that has made this come about. In the protests, people have said, things such as, in a conversation I was having at dinner today was about, the protests during COVID. And it's because people have this belief, and, rightly so, but this belief that everything has to stop right now because this is the one thing that people believe in and believe is right to do. So one of the things that I say, and so look at your belief system, look at your value system. And in terms of your career right now, how does that align? Because we're all going through the craziest of times. And it's not just the protests really, but it's also everything that's been happening during COVID. And, on quite a lot of talks we've done before, we're actually talking about how your employer has treated you. And so really have a think, and it's time to really think about what is going on in your job, in your career. Who are you talking to? Who's your manager? And this is a really good point to look at the protests as well. Are you sitting in a room where you look around and you all look the same? Or are we sitting in where there is diverse cultures, diverse people, diverse opinions? And this is something you really need to be a part of, because the world is, we are global. This isn't just about being part of an echo chamber. It's about being so much more than that. So where do you sit? And, what do you believe in? And are you sitting in a company that you truly believe? And this isn't just what's written on your screensaver when you press the on button. This isn't about, what the companies say they stand for. Do they actually stand for it? To be really frank, I remember there being conversations about, in one company that I've worked in, to say that on the leadership team, it was all sort of middle-aged white men, and then there was this one Black woman. And scarily enough, it was all seen as almost as an empty gesture. And even though she was definitely there in her own right, it was almost that because there was such a lack of diversity everywhere else, it just didn't make sense. It didn't sit right. And so really have a look at your exec team here. Have a look at everyone that works around you, and think about also the conversations that play out in the meeting rooms. Who has a voice and who doesn't? Who's in the managerial team and who isn't? And how do people get picked? Really think about it, because it's so important, because it's not about what a company says, but what a company does that you really need to be a part of, and you need to embody and believe in, because you've got to work somewhere that you believe in and that embodies everything that you value. And I'll be honest, I've worked in places that aren't like that. I won't name any names, but I've worked for a company where I felt like I'm hoodwinking people. I've worked for places that now COVID has hit, has made people redundant, but in a really nasty way, in quite a shocking way, where people have just been told overnight, no consultation period, and basically just trying to get people out the door without paying them. Exactly the same with some other companies companies I've worked at, naming no names, which treat women appallingly. They still are an old boys club, as as the old saying goes. And, the entire leadership is men, and they effectively bully women off the board. Now, that happens. We are in 2020, 2021, but that still happens. And people will, unfortunately, that will still continue. There will still be people, as you can see by the reactions to the protests and the reactions during COVID and how your employer has probably treated you during COVID. You know it's true. But the whole point is that we speak out and we actively take control of the situation. So if you are in a situation right now where your work, you're not being treated the way that you should, your colleagues aren't being treated the way that you should, you don't believe in the company anymore, and trust me, I've spoken to a lot of people who are feeling this way, remember, you are not without choice here. You are not powerless in this situation. This is all about you. And it's about how you react to this. And as you may have seen on social media, there's been loads of people walk out of Facebook. There's been loads of people walking out of Amazon over and publicly saying this on social media. I'm not saying that you need to publicly say it as you walk out the door, and please don't make any rash decisions, but you need to start thinking about the company that you're part of. Do you want to be part of that company? And as I say, I've been in situations where it hasn't sat well with me, and I've gone home at the end of the day and I've just been like, this isn't right. But I didn't do anything about it, and I can beat myself up about it until I'm blue in the face. But really, I left, and in some ways I was pushed, in some companies I've left, but in doing so, I felt better, immediately better. So, you've really got to think about this and think about who the CEO is, who the CEO or the partner or the head of or the founder or whoever. Think about it. Who are they as a person? Do you know what they're like as a person? Do you feel comfortable working for somebody like that? And really think about it. Really, really give it some thought, because it's your choice ultimately. No one holds a gun to your head and tells you to go to work every day. So it's ultimately your choice. But all this is very, very low. And what I'd say is be optimistic. When I say believe in the work that you do, be optimistic. There are wonderful, wonderful companies out there, fantastic companies that embody your value, but your values and your beliefs. But unless you know what your values are, unless you know what your beliefs are, unless you know what you stand for in this world, you can't choose a company that embodies the same values. So you need to get clear on who you are, what you do. And once you're clear, you find a company that works for you. And that means, don't just look at the website because the website says whatever they want it to say. I mean, get on LinkedIn, get on Glassdoor, get on Instagram, get on Facebook, get on all of those social media channels and really find out what kind of company they are. Go on LinkedIn, see who their colleague, the colleagues and the team is, and sort of get a good feel of who is actually in the business. One of the other things as well is do not leave immediately. Do not leave immediately. Do not decide to go and just jump ship just because they don't embody your values. How much I'd love for you to do that. We all have to put food on the table. And there's some situations, as I say, you're going through a redundancy process and all of that, and a lot of you are on furlough. So at this time, do not leave immediately, but have a look at the market. Get that cover letter, get those cover letters written, get that CV done, start phoning recruiters right now, because jobs are still there. People are still hiring. The job market will come round, but you need to not be sitting back and thinking, well, no one's hiring right now, because people are. So you need to instead turn it round, because there are a lot of recruiters right now who are waiting for the call. And I've spoken to recruiters. I know full well that they have jobs still on there that they need to fill, and they're looking for the right candidate, and that could be you. So get that CV looked at, send it to a recruiter, get their view on it, have a look at what you can do, how achievements you can add, speak to a CV coach. But get out there and really, really start looking, because don't just jump ship with nothing else to go into. I've spoken to people who say that is one of the biggest things that they've ever regretted, is jumping ship without knowing what they wanted to do next. So if you feel that your values aren't sitting right, or if something isn't right about the company that you're in, don't freak out about it and just make an emotional move. think about it wisely. Don't jump immediately. And also remember that, even if it's a difficult manager, you could, as long as they're not right at the top, just say you've got a manager that you're not feeling 100% great about, you know what, speak to HR and see, or have a look on the website, see if you can make a lateral move. And remember why you chose the job initially. Because it's really, really important to go back to that. Because if the company, the overall umbrella on this and the values of the company do fit in with you, but you just have a really difficult manager, then if your manager isn't adhering to the company values, then you need to speak up. And I know it is scary, but you have to speak up in these situations, because otherwise the person just gets away with it. And I know loads of times I've spoken up about somebody in the workplace, and it's been beaten down because they've been more senior than me or something like that. But then the true values of the company, and unfortunately, some companies will obviously go to that person, but at least that you haven't just walked away, and you haven't just walked away and sort of done it against your values. If it's just that you guys just don't get on, that's a completely different kettle of fish. But if it's that if their actions are not embodying the company values, then speak up. Otherwise, if you can do a lateral move and you can just get out of there, and get out of that team and into another team, have a look on the internal jobs website. You know what? Even move countries. I know people that have moved to a different country because they wanted a better work-life balance, a better job, and moved within the company into a different country. So it's difficult right now, but yes, there are options. Do not think that, you can't stay in the company if you really love the company, but you don't feel that you're working best with the best team. And as I say, remember what led you to the job initially. What is it about that job that you love? That's what's really, really important. And remember that every day. One of the things that we do in our household is we say what we're grateful for. So every day, every week or so, we'll always say, what are you grateful for right now? And we always think of roughly about 3 things that we're grateful for. And that's one of the things. Remember why you chose that job. And you know what? Every morning, wake up, think about what you're grateful for, and choose that reason why you chose the job initially. That will keep you going on your purpose, on your mission, and why you're doing a job that you believe in. Because if you do know that you want to make a move, there's no problem with that. There's no problem at all. But you've got to do it, and you've got to think about it, and you've got to be, realistic about it as well, because we're at a time where, yes, COVID is hit. It doesn't mean that there's no jobs on the market, but it does mean that everything that you decide to do from this point, you just need to think about it quite carefully. And this is why I'm saying that for any of you that do feel that you're in this position, that you're a little bit confused right now, you're not sure what you want to do as your next step, get in touch. Even though I'm on the other side of a computer screen, I am human. So, get in touch, book in a time, let's talk it through, because everyone should be in a job that they believe in. You should be in a job that you love. And you're not going to love it every single day, but you should be in a job that you believe in and you have a passion for and a purpose for, and you feel purposeful in doing it. And that's what these chats are that I do every Monday. But these are also a chance for us to have a one-to-one as well. 30 minutes, no obligation, completely free chat where we can just talk through your career and you don't feel that you're all alone, because you're not. So I hope that's helped. I hope that's given you some sort of, food for thought at the moment, given everything that's going on. And as I say, I'm Nikki Thomas. You can find me at winninginwork.com. So go across to the website. There's loads of articles on there that can give you some great guidance, some great support. There's also a podcast with great stories from great career role models there as well. As I say, you are not alone in this. So get in touch and we can get your career working for you. Take care. Have a great day, everyone.